talk about being slow and being still, and how those two things can be so beautiful and so important, but they can hold so much resistance. I notice myself having so much resistance to being slow and being still, even though that is what my body deeply craves right now and has craved for some time. I feel like when we don't give ourselves the moment to be in it, to really be in this present moment of what is being called to you, that awareness comes in some way or another. It forces its way into our reality of, hey, you need to be present. You need to notice what's going on around you and just take a moment to take a breath of fresh air. And I feel like sometimes that reminder, that little knock knock from what I consider the universe, it's not always pretty, and it's not always so calming or a gentle reminder. I feel like it starts that way of like, hey, this thing is happening, so you can remind yourself to notice what is happening right now. I feel like sometimes it can be big, sometimes it can be small. I think it starts off small and then it gets bigger, but I feel like in my case, I hurt my back at work. It's not my first injury. I've actually had several for being so young, and it can be really frustrating. It can be really confusing. Like, why is this happening to me? I'm so angry. I'm so frustrated. I want to be active. I want to be physical. And this is my little tap tap. This is my personal little reminder to slow down, to be present, to be still. And there are many layers to it. I don't believe that there is just this one layer for being a pretty spiritual person. I don't believe it's just this spiritual layer and the physical doesn't exist. And I don't believe it's just this physical layer of we are on earth and we are in our bodies and this is it. But I think there is the merging of the two, and then there's more than that. Kind of in like Ayurveda, which is a science of life that is based in India. It's like 5,000 years old. And it talks about the koshas, which is our energetic layers of our bodies. And so you can think of it as, I've seen it before, as like someone meditating. They're just like sitting, and then there's their one layer, their body, and then it just keeps going. It's like the energetic layer, the mind, the physical, the spiritual, all of that. And that's all interconnected, as I believe, and many believe. And so for me, there's the physical of hurting my back and being in a lot of pain. And there is the emotional, the frustration, and then there's layers behind it. And so right now, I am being called upon to uncover these layers. This is the way I look at it. I've been injured before. I've torn my ACL when I was 17. And at the time, I really didn't see it that way. It was very much, why is this happening to me? My life is horrible. I hate everything. Things have been taken away from me instead of things are happening for me. Or this thing happened because I wasn't in alignment. And I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to explain right now, is that sometimes these things in our lives, I believe, happen when we are not on the path that we are meant to be on. And we don't always know what that path is, and that's okay. But we get little signs, little reminders. Are we listening to them or not? So right now I'm trying to figure out where I wasn't listening and where I wasn't paying attention to myself and falling out of alignment with my path. And I do know, it's just hard to face those layers, especially now when there's this physical one of pain. And so what I started this with is presence and awareness and stillness. And pain really calls in presence and awareness and sometimes stillness. In these moments of frustration, of feeling like my body is betraying me because I can't dance, I can't move the way I want to move, I can't exercise, which is the thing that makes me feel the most energized. I don't feel like I have a lot of space for people in my life right now because of this pain. No, it's not forever. And I know that through reflecting on it and through being honest about it, I'm gonna find my way through. And so this is my little honest confession, I guess, of coming back. And by coming back, I mean coming back onto YouTube. I took this year break, I really jumped on and was ready to go, and it was like, I'm gonna film, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put my stuff out there. And then so much happened, as it does, and we put our passions on hold and put other things in front, prioritize other things like work and making money instead of doing what we really want to do. And so I'm trying to come back to my heart and come back to the things that make me genuinely happy. And I really committed to myself a year ago to share my story and share my practices and have this space where people could come find me and learn about me and my offerings as a coach, and just in general who I am as a person. I believe we all have things to offer in this world, in this universe, to humanity, to be of service in some way, shape, or form. And for some people that may look like being an artist, and for me it looks like being honest. It looks like being vulnerable and sharing my heart, and sometimes sharing my heart on camera or in person or over Zoom calls with clients and people. It's about presence. I feel like that is really what I am here to learn, to teach, to share. Sometimes our biggest pains, our biggest frustrations, and things that can be the most traumatic are our biggest lessons, and sometimes the things we were meant to share. And so I have learned many over my short years, and it has allowed me to become from a more grounded space, being able to sit with these things. And now, as I am in the thick of it and am very frustrated at certain things, but still able to be in a grounded space, I want to show up. As Sahara Rose always says, I'm making my mess my message, and I'm here to be with you in it, in the thick of it. So join me for this journey. Let's see where we go.